Who says the apocalypse has to be all doom and gloom? Sure, most post-apocalyptic stories are filled with grim survival, desolate wastelands, and brooding anti-heroes. But every now and then, a show comes along that proves that even in humanity's darkest hours, there's still room for laughter. So in this video, we're counting down the funniest post-apocalyptic TV shows that bring humor to the end of days. Daybreak. High school is already a battlefield, but when the apocalypse hits, it cranks the chaos up to 11, mixing teenage drama, nuclear fallout, and sheer ridiculousness along the way. Set in a world where a mysterious explosion melted most adults into goo, or turned them into mindless zombies, Daybreak follows Josh Wheeler, a snarky 17-year-old navigating the ruins of Glendale, California. The greater LA area is now ruled by high school cliques turned full-blown warrior factions, from cheerleaders rebranded as Amazonian warriors to bloodthirsty jock warlords defending their turf. And in the middle of it all, Josh is just trying to find his missing girlfriend. With its self-aware humor, fourth wall breaks, and surprisingly heartfelt moments, Daybreak is a hilarious, bizarre, and underrated must-watch for anyone who loves a little fun with their end-of-the-world storytelling. Zomboat. If you thought surviving a zombie apocalypse in a city was tough, try doing it on a painfully slow-moving canal boat. That's the brilliantly ridiculous premise of Zomboat, a British comedy that proves escaping the undead is a lot trickier when your only getaway vehicle tops out at 4 miles per hour. Set in Birmingham, the show follows sisters Kat and Jo, who, along with two guys they barely know, attempt to escape a zombie outbreak on a narrowboat. What follows is a hilarious, uniquely British take on the apocalypse, where slow-motion chases, dry humor, and constant sibling bickering take center stage. Though Zomboat only lasted one season, it's a hidden gem for fans of offbeat horror comedies. Because, let's be honest, if the world is ending, you might as well take the scenic route. Fallout. The Fallout franchise has been serving up snarky nuclear-fueled chaos for decades. And now, Prime Video brings that signature retro-futuristic madness to TV. Set in a world where nuclear war turned Earth into a radioactive nightmare, Fallout follows the survivors trying to make it in this bizarre new world. At the center of the series is Lucy, a naive but determined vault dweller forced to leave the safety of her underground bunker to find her kidnapped father. But the wasteland isn't exactly friendly, and Lucy's journey quickly turns into a survival free-for-all where questionable life choices are just as dangerous as the mutated creatures roaming the surface. Whether fending off raiders or questioning the shady motives of Vault Tech, Fallout nails the franchise's signature blend of comedy, carnage, and existential dread. Class of '07. Imagine being stuck at your high school reunion with all your old classmates, the people you spent years avoiding. Now imagine that reunion happens to take place during the literal end of the world. That's Class of '07, an Australian comedy that turns old high school drama into full-blown survival horror. A group of former students reunite for their 10-year anniversary, only for a mysterious cataclysm to leave them stranded on the only piece of dry land left for miles, their old school campus. With no rescue in sight and old rivalries resurfacing, these women quickly realize that the only thing harder than surviving the apocalypse is surviving each other. Packed with witty humor, biting satire, and plenty of chaos, Class of '07 is Mean Girls meets Lost, but with more floods, feuds, and hilariously bad survival skills. Creamerie. What happens when all men disappear and women are left to rebuild society? You get Creamerie, a darkly comedic and wildly unique take on the post-apocalyptic genre. 8 years ago, a deadly virus seemingly wiped out the male population, leaving women to run the world under the watchful eye of a mysterious organization called Wellness. At the center of it all are 3 dairy farmers, Alex, Jamie, and Pip, who are just trying to live their best lives. That is until they accidentally hit a man, yes, an actual living, breathing man, with their truck. Suddenly, their peaceful farm life spirals into chaos, conspiracies, and government secrets. With its sharp writing, hilarious characters, and a story that keeps you on your toes, this New Zealand comedy is a hidden post-apocalyptic gem that you didn't know you needed. Twisted Metal. If Mad Max and classic Saturday morning cartoons had a chaotic love child, it would be Twisted Metal. Based on the iconic PlayStation game, this action comedy goes full throttle with insane car chases, absurd characters, and plenty of offbeat banter. Anthony Mackie stars as John Doe, a wisecracking amnesiac courier tasked with delivering a mystery package across a lawless, post-apocalyptic America. But when the roads are ruled by ruthless warlords and psychotic clowns, his simple job turns into a deadly demolition derby. Along the way, he teams up with Quiet, a fearless car thief, and faces off against the unhinged Sweet Tooth, a killer clown with a love for chaos. What makes Twisted Metal stand out is that the show fully embraces its ridiculous premise. It's fast, it's wild, and it never takes itself too seriously. Z Nation. Zombie apocalypses are usually all darkness and despair, but Z Nation flips the script and says, "Nah, let's make this fun." This cult favorite takes the classic zombie outbreak formula and injects it with some much-needed humor. It's part horror, part road trip comedy, and completely bonkers. The story follows a ragtag group of survivors 3 years into a zombie apocalypse as they escort an ex-convict named Murphy across a zombie-infested America. Why? Because Murphy is the only known survivor of a zombie bite, making him humanity's last hope for a cure. But he's not exactly hero material. In fact, he's not thrilled about being everyone's last shot at survival. And to make things even worse, as time goes on, Murphy begins mutating into a zombie-human hybrid. Unlike other post-apocalyptic dramas, Z Nation embraces the absurdity. It's got campy action, unpredictable zombie mayhem, and a self-awareness that makes it feel like the most fun you can have in a zombie apocalypse. Before we wrap, here are 2 honorable mentions that aren't exactly post-apocalyptic comedies, but deal with similar themes and are simply too funny not to shout out. You, Me, and the Apocalypse. This darkly comedic miniseries follows a bizarre mix of characters, including a bank manager, a prison inmate, and a Vatican priest, as they struggle with impending doom when a comet is discovered to be on a collision course with Earth. Future Man. Future Man throws every sci-fi trope into a blender and adds raunchy humor for good measure by following Josh, a slacker janitor who's recruited by time travelers from the future to prevent a deadly war after he completes an unbeatable video game. The Last Man on Earth. Finally, we have The Last Man on Earth, a brilliantly quirky comedy about survival and human connection. What would you do if you thought you were the last person on Earth? For Phil Miller, the answer is talk to sports balls for company and roam the country searching for others. But just when Phil is ready to end it all after a year of believing he's the only survivor, he discovers he isn't actually alone. As more survivors begin showing up, Phil goes from the king of the world to the most annoying guy in the apocalypse, especially when it comes to Carol, the rule-following notary who insists they get married to repopulate the planet. With its awkwardly lovable protagonist, ridiculous antics, and an ever-growing and increasingly dysfunctional group of survivors, The Last Man on Earth makes the apocalypse feel strangely relatable and hilariously entertaining. Do you agree with our picks for the 8 funniest post-apocalyptic TV series? Are there any shows you'd like to add to this list? Let us know in the comments. Check out TVShowPilot.com for more post-apocalyptic show recommendations. And don't forget to subscribe to the TV Show Pilot YouTube channel for more videos like this.